but up on further down between the gazebo and forest, it's just the road and very little shoulder. So that's why he made the request to the city council. I kind of talked it over with him and just wanted to get an estimate as far as cost if the council chooses to go down and build that sidewalk with LMI housing funds, and it'd be $68,000 is what the engineer's probable cost was, and that would be to put the sidewalk off the back of the curb, or the back of the ditch, essentially where it comes back up, still in the right of way, but not right next to the road, like a carriage walk, but kind of a pathway off the back.
So that's gonna have to be filled in and a culvert put in and to go under the sidewalk, I assume, and for drainage and...
Well, they have, yeah, it'd be doing the dirt work to get it to where you
Right.
can put a sidewalk in the back there.
Right.
So,
I met with Aaron this morning and I expressed some concerns about this, that in more than one way. First off, we pushed hard for sidewalks years ago and forced a lot of people to do work they didn't want to do, but we made them pay for that.
Mhm.
Now we're going to put in a sidewalk at cost only from through taxes in a way, you can call it LMI or whatever, but it is through taxes and stuff anyway. If someone else ever requests a sidewalk, that lives in a low-income area and stuff, will we then be required to put that sidewalk in, because we are doing that in this case anyway? I guess we've kind of strayed, in the last few years, we've shied away from sidewalk projects. They've come ahead, but we've kind of walked away, and since I became mayor, and we've walked away from them and stuff anyway. And, I just want to be careful. To me, yes, we can use LMI funds. Is it a stretch of the imagination? In my mind, absolutely. That it's just a way to get it in is all we're using it for anyway, but we'll call it whatever. But I don't particularly like using those funds as they were set aside for housing and rehabilitation and stuff.
This is the same fund that we used to rehab houses?
Yes.
yeah, it's the set aside that exists when residential tax increment financing projects go through. There's a 38.8% set aside that's required by state code to benefit low and moderate income housing. So,
Is there anything else that can be done other than using LMI funds?
There's Safe Route to Schools funds and stuff, and I don't know if we've even entertained that, or maybe there aren't any available anymore. But to me, it falls more under that than it does under low to moderate income funds and stuff anyway, just my opinion. This is no different, I think, than the last issue. To me, this could open up a can of worms for us, maybe not today, but, maybe this council, maybe the next council, but it could be a problem that once we set this, that how do we tell the next deal we don't do that, because we actually are doing that, so I just caution the council if you do move ahead.
Well, I think maybe it's something we could entertain down the road a ways when Eagle Ridge is developed up there and we possibly have more kids coming from that area.
There's a school route now that picks the kids up down in the
Well,
corner.
there are quite a few kids walking on the shoulder down there.
Is there?
To get to Forest Estates or those apartments, there is quite a few kids.
Yeah.
It is a concern, I would think. I just don't know if those are the right funds to use for it. I would say maybe we should check in to find something else, safe school funds or something like that, or is anything like that available?
Which is,
Versus.
Why don't we table it and work on a different approach, how's that?
Okay.
I'll make a motion with table.
okay.
Second.
all in favor of tabling it?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Who's the same?
John.
Second.
Alrighty, for our first public hearing, this being the time and place for the scheduled public hearing on the sale of a parcel of land locally known as 605 Sumner Avenue. I will open the public hearing at 5:54 p.m. Aaron, explain what's
Six-
going on here.
Sure. 605 Sumner Avenue is a property that the city actually acquired through the state code of vacant and dilapidated properties. I guess vacant, abandoned, and dilapidated properties. The structure was actually owned by a Marilyn Strand who passed away a while ago, and was never actually brought out of the estate was never opened. So the property continued to be owned by somebody who was deceased. The bank refused to take the property, so nobody was opening the estate on that part. So it just fell into this very long gray area in which I had Eric actually pursue taking the property, even though it was actually in fairly decent shape, because it was abandoned. I mean, there was nobody claiming ownership, so it would have eventually become a problem property like the one we tore down. So rather than let that happen, engaged Eric to take the property, which happened probably about 2 weeks ago. At that point, I started showing people through the property. We sent out notices to everybody. The council set the public hearing to consider it. And from that, those showings and talking to folks, we've ended up with 3 proposals, and I think all 3 folks are actually here and can kind of address what their proposals are for use of the property. It's a scenario that this process, I think we went through this once or twice before, but it's almost like an auction in the sense that you receive all the proposals and people can change them and do whatever they want at that point, and the council considers them. But on the flip side, the understanding is obviously that it's best and highest use is the biggest concern. All of the proposals that we have are for $1, but include amounts to be invested in the property, which will then generate property taxes and stabilize the property. After the council chooses which path to take, or to table, or to continue, whatever, once the path is chosen and who's actually going to receive the property, we'll work with an attorney to draft a development proposal or a development agreement that will outline exactly what they've stated that they will do in their proposal, so that there's some teeth if they don't actually follow through, and the city can then take the property back for not performing the requirements of the development agreement.
Well, we have all 3 parties here tonight. Do we want to hear from the parties,
Sure.
intentions and stuff anyway, so we've got kind of some idea, so. Our first proposal is from Sisters Homestyle Entrees. So, come up to the podium, please.
Hi, I'm Deb Davis, and I own Sisters Homestyle Entrees downtown. And I'll tell you a little bit what we're going to do with the building, okay? Our company is growing so fast and so big, which is great. It's a great problem to have. We just need more space. We need a bigger showroom. If anybody, I know some of you guys have been in our showroom keeps shrinking down. Pretty soon it's going to be at the front door. It really is. So what we're going to do at this building, in the very front of the downstairs, we're going to make it into a nice big showroom, okay? We're going to bring in some other food, like maybe some organic foods and different things like that, okay? So we're going to have a nice big showroom. When we first get the building, we're going to clean it up, and we just did rust estimates on these, okay? Cleaning up about $3,000 just cleaning the building out, okay? All the flooring will need to be redone, okay? Heating and cooling, we have a price down for that. Painting and repairing some of the walls. Repairing the roof, that's just an average. That's pretty low average, because we're just putting a new roof on our roof now. That's really low, okay? And then some office equipment, things like that, okay? The upstairs, we're not gonna rent it out as apartments, we decided. We're gonna use it for our business, so it will be a very active business place, okay? Any of you guys have any questions for me? I kinda just went over that kind of fast.
Time frame for build out?
Time frame, yesterday. I would say within a 30-day period. We have already electricians, other contractors that was working on our building right now that can just flow into the next project. Okay, so we're looking at a very turnover. Okay. So like a 3 to 5 week period. That's a reasonable time, okay?
And just I don't know, it was in the council notes, but the total offer is $57,000 worth of improvements, and then $1 for the building.
Any questions for Deb? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Next, we have a Carrie Rossetti, which is a 4-day geek computer repair.
Hi.
Good evening.
I need a building. My building's up for sale. So basically, we'd like to get this in, I'd like to move my existing building into it, in the bottom floor. I've already outlined the things I'm gonna do, and,
Maybe you could just kind of go over that a little bit on as far as the, you know, kind of just highlight some of the stuff that you want to do to the building and stuff for us, please.
sure. Well, obviously, it probably needs a roof. If not, we'll deal with that. But first and foremost, the roof is the most important. Then they have some bugs in there, so we need to get those out. The back apartment needs cleaned up. Looks like it's in pretty decent shape, so just fresh paint.
And you plan on living in the apartment?
Yeah, I'd like to live in the back space. We're looking for a place we can actually live in and be there and occupy. So the top apartments, we'd like to get those up, so they look nicer, and replace the flooring, paint, and anything else that might need done. It's hard to tell.
You would continue to use them as apartments then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I'd like to get them ready to rent out. I know we have a kind of a shortage around town of apartments and buildings, so I hear. And so anyways, I think that would be a good idea. Basically, I don't know how the heating is. It's in the unknown but assumed usable condition. So if that needs to be replaced, I'll definitely get that done. The front of the building, I'd like to take off the metal awning. I know that's debatable for a lot of people in town, but I'd like to take that off and replace it with something nice that's suitable, that would match the historic qualities of the building. Do some painting on the trim, put some new windows in, a security door where the apartment door is right now. Make the stairs look nicer by replacing the carpet on there, or if they're wood, get those finished up and add a side rail. Basically that's it. I mean, I'd like to get this done, it's not gonna take me overnight or a matter of weeks to get it done, but I would propose to have all this done within a year. And I say a minimum of $36,000, just based on what I can see from going through it, with a maximum of $50,000 or more if needed. That's my plan.
And your offer is $1 also?
Yes, yep.
Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
And we also have an offer from Brad Cook. Brad, you could fill us in a little bit here.
Yeah, I guess my plan is to purchase the building for $1, and I'd use the storefront for a central location for my business, and in time open up a steel dealership. The upstairs apartments, we would clean them out, repair, fix anything that needs done, get them back to respectable so they're rentable, fix anything that needs to be fixed, paint all the walls, either restore hardwood if it's in there or replace with carpet. And we've got plenty of manpower, and I've got all the equipment needed. The storefront, we would replace the two doors in front, paint the front of the building, and get it back looking presentable. Coming into the slower time of the season for me in the tree service, I've got plenty of workers looking for some summer, or for some winter hours, and that's probably when it'll get done, so that's kind of my intentions.
Do you have, just for the nature of the city having to enforce something, Right now, there's no dollar figure on there. Would you be fine with a development agreement that said, I will invest X amount of dollars into this property? Because as it is, there's nothing that the city could say, well, you haven't done anything to the building.
Right, it'd be, yeah, to give you a hard number, I mean, that's, until you get into it, but yeah, you're probably looking, probably 25. I mean, we don't have to, my intentions is to do all the contracting work myself. We are more than capable of doing
Sure.
it, so.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You said something about a steel dealership, what does that entail?
Thoughts were on that is, it's chainsaw, equipment,
Oh,
supplies.
steel, okay.
Steel, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
And, just run something like that out of it and do some chain sharpening and stuff like that on the side. But just to get myself a base here in town, I live in the country and I've got 4 little girls and just somewhere for them to go to after school if they need to be. And
Maybe we
Put
consider
them
it a daycare. Another shortage we have in town, so it's. Just don't go that. Any questions for Brad?
Can he include his own labor costs as part of the estimate?
Well, it just has to be something that's enforceable, so.
So include your own labor costs. Charge a lot of money.
Thank you, Brad.
thank you.
This is, we've got a couple options here. One is we can act on this tonight. You know, 2, we can, now that we've seen the offers and stuff, I don't think we can table this till the next meeting and give us an idea what route we want to pursue. You know, we can, you guys can certainly do whatever you'd like to do and stuff anyway, so.
I would think we need probably some more firm numbers on this last one for Mr. Cook about what he's willing to, or, you know, because the other ones, they've already given us a certain dollar amount of what they're looking at. So I think probably that we should have them all be the same as far as that goes. Unless it's not gonna be a big issue.
No, I
As far
think
as
it'll
the city-
be, you have to look at it from the standpoint of writing a development agreement and what you
Mhm.
put in there, and it's almost impossible with ambiguous to write a development agreement, because if there's.
So we need a firm number
You
to
have
write
to
the
have
develop,
something
okay.
firm, because,
So I would say that,
you know, commitment
Yeah.
of percentage, there's a development agreement actually later in the council meeting,
Mhm.
meeting, and it's pretty stretched